Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And surprise, unsurprise.
Shocker.
Not shocking. Not at all. Wonder Woman 1984 is going to be dumped onto HBO Max on Christmas Day, just as we told you would probably happen.
It's going to want to go up against Soul. We said that they probably do something like this.
Yeah, Disney Plus is also going to release Soul on Christmas Day. There is no additional cost for Wonder Woman because Warner Media needs as many people to subscribe to HBO Max as possible. And it's so weird because we're going to talk about this. Everyone is freaking out. All these analysts are freaking out. They're like, oh my God, the studios don't care about the movie theaters, do they?
And we're just sitting here like, where have you been? We've been talking about this for weeks. We've been telling you guys for weeks this is what's going on. And once the studios get a taste of that money or they don't have to share, do you think that they're going to go back to the old way?
Nope. So before we get into it, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We're over 150,000. I think we're 153,000. Thanks for the support. So yeah, we're going to talk about Wonder Woman 1984 being released on HBO Max on Christmas Day. And then we're going to talk about the reactions from Gal Gadot and Patty Jenkins, the director, pushing people to go to theaters because it will have a very, very limited theatrical release.
So it is getting a theatrical release. Well, we said it'll probably get a theatrical release, and then if it does, it'll be a very short one, and then they'll put it on, HBO Max. We've been saying that.
This is the new normal. We just did a video the other day talking about Universal working out a deal with Cinemark and AMC that the release window now is only like 17 days.
Well, yeah, depending. It could be 31, how much money. But they were like, they locked Universal into an agreement where they can't just do this, where they put it out for a week and then pull it. But that's not what these guys agreed to, so here we go.
Yeah, so this is coming from The Verge. We'll talk about that. I got the email late last night, actually. HBO Max sent an email out to subscribers, and it was like 8 or 9 o'clock last night, and they said, yeah, we're going to do this. And they made sure to put in the email, it will not cost you anything extra.
Oh, they did?
Yes.
Yeah. Because
of Mulan. People were speculating they were going to charge $20 or $30
Yeah, I was wondering if they were going to pull something like that, too, because they did it with Mulan, and now Disney's doing Soul for no extra cost as well.
Yeah. So this is actually gonna hurt. This is gonna hurt their bottom line.
Well, damn, Christmas Day is gonna be busy.
Yes, it is. So Wonder Woman 1984 will be released on HBO Max the same day it's in theaters for no extra cost.
Oh, it is in theaters at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought they were doing it in theaters first.
Yeah, no, they're going to do theaters and international markets on December 16th.
Okay.
In the U.S., though, I guess it's going to get dropped on the same day.
This makes sense. I'll tell you why. I've been doing research on this before for other articles, and what was going on with Hollywood was the reason that they weren't doing international box office, because even though a lot of countries were ready to have movies, they weren't sending them over there, was because they did not want to do any movie that would be released internationally that would not be released within 10 days or so in the United States. For people selling the high seas and those kind of things and spoiling it for people. So they weren't giving it to countries that were ready early because they didn't want to do that to the U.S. market. So this completely makes sense. So I thought they were going to do it before Christmas, but now they're doing it the same time.
Yeah,
okay, that makes sense.
It's convoluted.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, one of 2020's last big blockbusters, Wonder Woman 84, will simultaneously be released in theaters and on HBO Max on December 25th. A press release from Warner Brothers confirms the film will be available for 1 month.
They're doing 1 month. Okay.
1 month, and premiere in theaters in international markets on December 16th. After the 1 month period is over, the film will play exclusively in theaters, The Verge has learned. Well, who's going to go after they've already seen it?
Okay, so basically it's going to be on HBO Max for a month?
HBO Max for a month, and then it's going to go to theaters. And then following that, the film will enter a traditional window period. That means it will head to digital retailers like Amazon, iTunes, Vudu, before finding its way back to HBO Max.
This is very confusing.
So they're going to drop it in international theaters on the 16th.
Right. And then 9 days later.
9 days later, in America, it will go into theaters and on HBO Max, but only for 1 month on HBO Max.
Okay, this is very convoluted.
And then after that, it's going to go on to like Vudu and Amazon and all that. And then after that, it's going to come back to HBO Max.
This reminds me of like a kid telling a story. And then, that's what it reminds me of. I'm trying to follow it. And it's like being an elementary teacher again. And then it went here. And then It went here. And I'm just sitting here like, what? Wait, it's like you need a Venn flipping diagram to follow. You need a diagram to follow all the, progression of this thing.
Unlike Mulan, Wonder Woman 84 won't cost anything extra beyond the monthly subscription fee. HBO Max subscribers will have the opportunity to watch the film directly from home. And they're talking about how it's $15 a month, and they're hoping it's going to boost subscribers.
Well, it's going to, because if you're just one person, it might be cheaper to go to the theater. But if you have a whole family, $15 for 1 month, when you just can watch it at home and you don't have to worry about things. Of course, the theaters are shitting their pants because most people are going to stay home.
Yeah. That's just it. Patty Jenkins is shitting her pants too, the director, because she was pushing hard for a theatrical release, even if it was next year. And we'll talk about what she's saying, what Gal Gadot's saying. Patty Jenkins says, I can't wait for the world to see this amazing woman on the screen. She'll blow your mind and warm your heart. Gal Gadot killed it in this film, and she does all that great and hard work for only the most honorable reasons. She's a true Wonder Woman. This is what Gal says. She said, it's time. We've all waited a long time for this one. I can't tell you how excited I am for you to see the movie.
Me too.
Yeah, Geeky's
I've been waiting for this thing. Go ahead.
Wasn't an easy decision. We never thought we'd have to hold on to the release for such a long time, but COVID rocked all of our worlds. Feel the movie has never been so relevant, and we hope that it'll bring some joy, hope, and love to your hearts. Wonder Woman 84 is a special one for me, and I can only hope it'll be as special to you too. We put our hearts and souls into it, so you can watch it in theaters. They're doing an amazing job keeping it safe, and you can watch from HBO. Now, they are pushing for it to be seen in theaters. Obviously, I don't know if it's a financial thing or just that they want people to go to the theater. But Jenkins said that there is a program that they're working on. We're also working on a program to allow you, your cohort, your family, or your pod to rent their own theaters out to screen the film in the safety of your group, kind of like AMC's doing. Yeah, so they're going to push for theatrical. Now, again, I don't know if that is because it's meant to be seen in a theater and they want it to be, or it's financial, like Patty and Gal get more money if it's seen in the theater. I don't know.
But that whole idea of you can rent the theater out for your friends to watch it, I'm like, you do understand though, like we're in PA, and PA, the numbers are going up like crazy, and the rules, okay, they're actually putting out there that if you have get-togethers for the holidays and you're going to your family's house, you should wear a mask when you're at their house and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying. So they are being really, really, we're cracking down. They canceled winter sports. They're cracking down really hard. So even if you had a group of 10 people at the theater to rent it, I don't know if you're allowed to do that.
I have no idea.
At least not in our state.
Well, drive-thrus are making a comeback, and some people commented.
Do that.
Yeah, they commented on our previous video, the Universal one. They're like, here's the thing. The movie theaters are being starved of new content by the studios. Mm-hmm. I think this is deliberate. I think it's because they want people to go to their streaming services. They know the writing is on the wall. Movie theaters are going to be as relevant to the motion picture industry as arcades are to the video game industry.
Right.
It's nice to have them, but we don't need them.
Right. And especially when it comes to anything that's going to be tied to Warner Media or tied to Disney, because they are really, really, really pushing their own streaming services hard. That is priority for them. So, of course, they're going to send it there and do whatever they can there before, they go out to the theaters or in conjunction. Unlike Universal, who's trying to make deals, there's no real reason for them. You know what I mean? Because their focus is on their own stuff.
Yeah, because they don't need the middleman anymore. And this is going to happen, I think, with, we talked about comic books too, where more and more publishers are kind of cutting Diamond out, because we saw that they were the weakest link during the pandemic. Comic shops and Diamond. And the same thing is going to happen now, where Disney, their last quarterly earnings call was all about direct to consumer. They don't need a third party. They want you to buy their movies directly from them. And while they might not make the dollar amounts, the big, billion-dollar amounts that you see them brag about, if you take the movie theater's cut out of it, the studios might actually be able to pocket more money.
They might be ahead. So, good or bad, right or wrong, it doesn't matter. They're just going to look at their bottom line. Now, the good news is, if you're a theater person, it'll be in theaters as well. It is interesting, though, that they are doing this, that it's going to be on HBO Max a week at the same time it's out in the theater, or a month at the same time when it's out in theaters, when that is the key time The first month is the key time. So after that, it doesn't really do the theaters much good to continue in theaters and not be on HBO Max, because everybody who pretty much wanted to see it was going to go watch it then. I probably would not go to the theater because I don't think the theaters are going to be open then, the way it's going in PA. They're shutting things down right and left. I really want to see this damn movie. So I most likely will pay the $15 or the subscription, because we do it anyway.
Yeah, we have a subscription anyway. Why would we
see it that way?
Yeah, we have a big TV, so it's not going to be much different for us. Now, what gets me though is, just the dollar amounts. Even paying $20 or $30 for video on demand, like we did with Bill and Ted, is preferable to going to the theater. And financially, especially dealing with all the hassle with COVID and all that, but. You'd pay $10-15 a ticket to go to the theater.
And gas. Like for us, we have to travel to go to theaters. Yeah. We have a local theater that doesn't come there till months after.
Dollar theater.
But the same prices, going far away. So you have all these expenses associated with it, and especially if people have more than a couple people in their family, it might not be as good a deal to go to the theater. So this is probably going to hurt the theater. So they're getting it, and that's good. But I'm not expecting it to do fantastic, because a lot of places, cases are going up and they're shutting things down. So it's a good chance that some of these places might not even be open by Christmas to people to go to them.
Well, AMC especially, they're hurting. Cinemark made a deal with Universal, which we talked about before in another video. And that was interesting because the theater owners were all ganging up on Universal for releasing Trolls 2, not the bad Trolls 2, but Trolls World Tour. And now they're wheeling and dealing because they'll take any crumbs they can get. Because I think that kind of set a warning shot to the studios too. They're like, we got to watch out for ourselves. We can't depend on theaters. But I think there's some Machiavellian scheming going on where they're like, well, we'll just starve the movie theaters, and maybe later we can pick them up cheap.
Or they'll a lot of times theaters were like saying, hey, we're not going to give you more of a cut because it's not fair, we're not getting enough. And they were, fighting publicly with like Disney, for example, with the Star Wars cuts and stuff. And it might be like, well, you want what we give you, you'll take what we give you, and I'm sure they're going to leverage it to their advantage. No question.
Oh, absolutely. So what's going to happen, like we said before, I don't think movie theaters are going to die per se, but they will become relegated to the same status that arcades are now, where people go to the arcade for the experience. And there are some games there that you really can't play at home, but for the most part, a home video game industry has blown past.
Well, for the most part, there aren't many arcades.
There aren't.
Not compared to what there was 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah, 20, 30 years ago.
40 years ago. God. See, 40 years is actually what I think of 20 years. Anyway,
arcades in the 80s and 90s were as common as movie theaters. A lot of times, the movie theaters had arcades.
They had arcades, yes.
In them or connected to them, or they were right next door or whatever. And that's what's going to happen in the movie theaters. It'll be a nice niche experience for people to go to experience a movie on the big screen. But the reality is you're not going to have to go to the movie theater. Everybody's got big TVs and surround sound at home.
What really stinks is if COVID hadn't happened, I could totally see arcades being brought back next to places like movie theaters, so it was like a pop culture experience.
Yeah.
And because pop culture is big right now and everybody wants to relive the 80s and 90s so badly, I could totally have seen them put more arcades out there. Arcades would have popped up. There's a huge one in the one mall not far from here. I could just see more and more of those popping up, especially near movie theaters, and it would have been one hell of an experience, you know? Yeah. And that's where it was kind of headed, and then COVID happened. And so now my dreams of all that coming back are probably dashed. So
for now, maybe eventually, but I think about like the arcades, especially, how could you even, Sega in Japan, they just laid off hundreds and hundreds of arcade employees because you have to touch everything.
Yep.
You have to touch the controllers and the buttons and everything. What are you going to do? You have to wipe everything down. You got kids running around. And so they just laid a whole bunch of people off at Sega. And they were one of the biggest arcade companies overseas. Sega arcades are legendary. They're huge. They're massive. And
the plushie win there are fantastic.
Oh, yeah. We had a giant Sonic from the Sega arcade over there.
Yeah.
But that's what's going to happen. So everybody now... Like Motley Fool now, they're starting to like, wow, this could be really bad for theaters.
You're like, you don't say.
No shit. No shit, Motley Fool. I thought you were supposed to be ahead of the curve and telling people what to invest in. Investing in AMC at this point is suicide because they're not going to be around at all. Look, they're going down again. But I think Warner Media's got to do what they got to do to survive, and it's going to change things. But I got to wonder if the streaming services take over for the movie theaters. we don't have those billion-dollar box offices, are we going to see cheap movies? Because we're not going to spend the money to make like an Endgame because it costs hundreds of millions of dollars.
So basically, we're going to see what we're seeing on the streaming service. Because the streaming services are all about quantity over quality, it seems.
Yeah.
The green light. There's a joke that Netflix will green light anything, and you occasionally get these beautiful done movies like Klaus or something, and you get these amazing things that sometimes appear. But a lot of times you get these duds. So I'm wondering. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm wondering, are we going to see a reduction in quality just to shit out a bunch more, especially if they're just going to go direct to their streaming?
Yeah, that's just it. Like Wonder Woman 3 might look about as good as 70s Wonder Woman. At this point.
But I have a love for 70s Wonder Woman.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like,
she could spin in circles.
Oh, that'd be amazing if she did. But yeah, I mean, we're getting the Snyder cut, and they're putting money into that. But again, the whole purpose is to get people on HBO Max. Once they're already on HBO Max, I gotta wonder if they're not going to cut corners.
I don't know. But the good news is, if you want to see Wonder Woman like I do, you'll be able to see it in the theater, or you'll be able to see it on HBO Max on Christmas. You might want to avoid the internet for a few days before Christmas because they're probably going to spoil the hell out of it for you. But
Cheetah's in it.
Oh, you don't say.
Yeah, because
no idea.
The dolls already spoiled the movie.
And the good thing is, if I can watch it at home, I could actually wear my damn underoos, because if I went to the theater, I could wear them, but I had to put clothes over them, and it's just not the same.
Well, you don't have to put clothes over them, but
they would escort me from the theaters. Well,
now there is a trick. If you sit in the back row, I'm pretty sure there are a lot of people in the back row that don't have all their clothes.
You're probably right.
And you probably have the whole theater to yourself because, COVID. So you sit in the back, you can take your pants off and watch Wonder Woman.
Watch Wonder Woman in my underoos.
Certain theaters actually encourage you to take your pants off.
I know. I don't think these are those.
I don't know if those theaters are open during the pandemic or not.
Oh, no.
I can ask Pee Wee Herman. Maybe he knows. I don't know. All right, so we're going to wrap it up?
Yeah.
Okay, so please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.